Welcome back to another video lecture of financial derivative and risk management. So till now we have discussed many things about the financial derivative, and in financial derivative we have discussed various things, and in that we are discussing very thoroughly on the futures contracts. We are discussing that what a future contract is and what a forward contract is. We are distinguishing between the future contract and the forward contract. In that we have come across a very important fact that while we are entering into a future contract, we need to deposit a certain portion of the amount of the contract as a margin. So, if you have remembered that in future contract we need to deposit a margin amount, and in forward contract we are not required to deposit a margin amount. So, what is this margin amount? We know that that is a initial money, or that is a portion or a percentage of the total contract amount that we need to deposit while entering into that future contract. In today's class, we are going to discuss vividly about what this margin is, what are the types of margin, and how we are dealing with that margin, or how this margin is been calculated, and various other things about this margin. So, without any delay, let us start our video lecture of today's, that is on the margin. So, what this margin is, that we know that to trade in a future contract we need to deposit a certain percentage of the total contract value with the exchange as a security deposit, and this sum is, we are calling it as the margin, or this sum is known as margin. So, the percentage can vary for different commodities and is decided by the exchange. So, the exchange is the one who is going to decide, and that amount of margin also differ from commodity to commodity, that we are saying that according to the underlying asset on which we are taking the contract, the value of the margin also differs. So, the margins allow us to deposit a small amount of money and take exposure to a large value transaction, thereby leveraging on the transaction. So, without margins place, the parties cannot enter into any future contract, as we have said that margin is mandatory while we are entering into future contract. So, these margins are the one that gives a futures agreement the required financial twist as compared to the spot market transaction. So, that margin is the initial money, or the margin is mandatory while we are going to deal, or we are going to take a future contract. So, whenever we are taking a future contract, we are depositing a certain percentage or certain portion of the money as a margin amount, and that is very essential, or that is very we can say that that is mandatory while we are going into the future contract. And this margin is giving the future contract a security, and this margin is the one which is giving us a larger exposure on the portion of money that we are keeping as the deposit with the broker. We can say that we are depositing with the firm. So, this is what margin is. So, this margin could be of various types. So, broadly we are saying that the margin could be a initial margin, or it could be a maintenance margin, it could be a variation margin. So, initial margin is one when we are going to start a future contract, or to initiate the contract we have to deposit a portion of money or portion of amount, that is what the initial margin is. But there are also various other types of margin. So, let us discuss that what are the types of margin in detail. We are going to discuss the 6 types of margin which is applicable to the futures trading, and that are the initial margin, mark to market, special margin, delivery margin, additional margin, and pre-expiry margin. So, these are the 6 types of margins that are applicable to the futures trading. So let's discuss these margins in detail one by one. So first start with the initial margin. So when a commodity trader opens a trading account with a broker, he or she is required to put down a capital sum to initiate a trade. So as we have said that to initiate a trade or to start a trade, the trader need to deposit a portion of amount or portion of money. So that is what the initial margin is. So this acts as a collateral which allows the commodity trader to enter into the futures market. So it is refundable at delivery expiry or exercise or squaring up depending on the profit or gain of the trade. And the initial margin must be maintained throughout the time that the position is open. So till the position is open, the initial margin is maintained, and if the value of underlying commodity falls below the margin, you need to top up your account with additional margin to hold the particular commodity. So when the value of the underlying asset or the underlying commodity is also falling below the margin, so the account holder or the trader is need to put additional money as the additional margin to hold that particular commodity. So this is what the initial margin is. And at the time of initiating the futures positions, margins are blocked in your trading account. So when we are initiating or at the time of initiation, the margins are blocked in the trading account, and the margins that get blocked is also called the initial margin, as we have said. And the initial margin is made up of two components, that are the span margin and the exposure margin. So this is what we can say, that the initial margin is, that is the initial money at the time of opening of a trading or a future trading. We are depositing a portion of money with the broker or with the fund, and that is what the initial margin is. And if the money or if the initial margin goes down the commodity, then the value that is required also we need to put in the accounts to maintain the margin amount. So that margin amount is maintained throughout. And this margin, initial margin, what we are saying or we are discussing, is having two major components, as we have said, the span margin and the exposure margin. So now what is this span margin and exposure margin? Let's give a quick look. And this exposure margin, we are going to discuss the exposure margin, that is mark to marketing. Let's know that what this span margin is. So this initial margin can be put in the formula, like initial margin is equal to the span margin plus exposure margin. Now what is the span margin? The span margin of a contract is calculated by a standardized portfolio analysis of the risk. That is the span, that is the standardized portfolio analysis of a risk for the future and option strategies while trading equities, commodities and currencies. So this is what the span margin is calculated, and this is what the span margin is. And the span margin for a security keeps on changing based on the volatility. So according to the volatility of the underlying asset or the security, the span margin of the security also keep changing. And initial margin will be blocked in your trading account for how many ever days you choose to hold the future trade. So how many ever days we will be trading or we are holding the future trade, the initial margin will be blocked in the trading account. And the value of initial margin varies daily as it depends on the futures price. And you must remember that initial margin is equal to the percentage of contract value, and the contract value is equal to the futures price multiplied by the lot size that we are taking. So we know that in futures contract we are going to trade with a lot size, with a particular lot size, and the contract value is equal to the future price and the lot size, the multiplied with the lot size. And lot size is a fixed, but the futures price varies every day. The lot size that we are taking, that is fixed, but the future price may varies every day, and this means the margins also vary every day. So this is what the initial margin is, what we are saying, that the initial margin also may vary every day, as the initial margin is equal to, as we said, the span margin plus the exposure margin, and the future price as is differing every day, and we are getting the contract value out of the future price multiplied by the lot size. Lot size is the size of the contract that we are taking with us. So that contract, that the lot size is fixed, no doubt, but the future price will definitely change every day. So as it will change every day, the initial margin is also going to change every day. Next, we will come to the mark to market margin, and this mark to market margin is also very famously called as the M to M, is the margin that is calculated on each trading day by taking the difference between the closing price of a contract on that particular day and the price at which the trade was initiated. So this is what the mark to market is. So if we will remember that while we are discussing on the basics of the futures and the forward contract, we have gone through this mark to market concept. So mark to market, in that what we know, that each day the profit and loss of the contract is been calculated. If you remember, we have discussed on that, and in futures what we have discussed, that it is a mark to market position is been done, or that each day the profit and loss we are calculating. So this is what the mark to margin is. We will be discussing more on that. So in other words, we can say that it's the practice of crediting or debiting a trader's account based on the daily closing prices of the futures contract he is holding. So mark to market margin is calculated on daily basis to find out the profit or loss on the open futures positions, and if there is a profit, the amount is transferred from the clearing house to your trading account by the broker, and in case of loss, the amount is transferred by the broker from your trading account to the clearing house. And as long as you hold the futures contract, M to M is applicable. That is what the mark to market is applicable. So for example, we can say that if one buys futures of rupees 5,000 and its price fall to rupees 4,500, then he or she has to pay a M to M margin of rupees 500 to take the position in the future. So this is what the mark to market is. So each day the profit or loss is being cleared by the clearing house. If you gain on that, or if you make a profit, then the broker is going to give the trading account with the portion of profit by the clearing house, and if you loss also, your account is going to be dated, and the amount will be deducted from your account by the clearing house. So this is what mark to market is. Let's understand it more easily with another example. So let's assume on 1st of December 2020 at around 11 am, Rajiv decide to buy Hindalco futures at rupees 165 and the lot size is 2000. So of 2000 Hindalco futures is bought by Rajiv at a price of 165 per future, and on the date, that is the 1st of December 2020. So after 4 days, on 4th of December, he decide to square up the position, and on the 4th of December the price is rupees 170.1. that is the position of the Hindalco futures on the 4th December. So what's happened, that clearly, as the calculation that we will have below, that is a profitable trade, as we can see that we are buying or Rajiv is buying the future contract or taking the Hindalco futures at a price of 165 and selling it at 170, and the profit per share that it is getting is rupees 5.1 rupees. So this is what the profit that we can assume very clearly here. and the total profit is definitely 2000. What is the lot size is multiplied by the profit, that is 5.1, and we are and Rajiv is getting a profit of 10,200 rupees on this this Hindalco futures, which he bought at in the 1st of December at a cost of 165 per share, and selling it at a rupees 170.1 on the 4th of December. So, this is the scenario. So, let us see that however the trade was held for 4 working days. So, the Rajiv is buying the Hindalco futures on the 1st of December and selling it on the 4th of December. So, it is held for 4 working days. So, each day the futures contract is held, the profit or loss is marked to market. So, according to the condition that we have read in the futures contract, that mark to market, it is applicable here. So, how it works, that while marking to market, the previous day closing price is taken as the reference rate to calculate the profit or the losses. So, let us analyze the table here and understand that how it works. So, on 1st December 2020, the market closed at 168.3 rupees. On 2nd December, it is 172.4. On 3rd, it is 171.6. On 4th, it is 169.9 rupees. So, the table above shows the futures price movement over the 4 days the contract was held. So, let us look at what happens on a day-to-day basis to understand how that M2M work. So, on day 1 at 11 AM, the future contract is purchased at 165 rupees. So, clearly after the contract was purchased, the price has gone up further to close at 168.3 rupees. So, hence the profit of the day is 168.3 minus 165, that is clearly that 3.3 rupees per share. And since the lot size is 2000, the net profit of the day will be 6,600, that you can see, that is the profit of rupees 3.3 is multiplied by the lot size 2000. Hence, the exchange ensures by the broker that rupees 6,600, that is the profit of that day, that is credited to Rajiv's trading account at the end of the day. But where is this money coming from? Now, that must be a question. Obviously, it is coming from the counterparty. So, which means the exchange is also ensuring that the counterparty is paying up rupees 6,600 towards his loss. But how does the exchange ensure they get this money from the party who is supposed to pay up? Obviously, through the margins that are deposited at the time of initiating the trade. So, here we can clearly see that on the very first day, that is on the first day when Rajiv is buying the share or buying the Hindalco futures at rupees 165 rupees, on that day the closing price becomes 168. So, according to the condition that we know that the mark to market at the end of the day when the trade is been calculated, the Rajiv is getting a profit of 6,600 rupees, that is that we can know clearly that the lot size is 2000 what it is holding, and the profit that it make that day is 3.3 rupees. So, by the end of the day, the broker ensures that this 6,600 rupees is been credited to Rajiv's account. But now the question arises that from where this money will come. Obviously, here comes the margin's importance. So, the margin amount that is been deposited by the counterparty, that will be the amount which is going to be credited to the Rajiv's account. So, this is how the mark to market is working. So, this is what is the scenario in day 1. Let us see what happens in the second day. So, on day 2, the futures closed at 172.4 rupees, and another day of profit of Rajiv. The profit earned for the day would be rupees 172.4 rupees minus the last day closing, that is 168.3 rupees, and the profit amount is 4.1 rupees per share, and when we multiplied with the lot size 2000, we get a net profit of 8,200. So the profit that Rajiv is entitled to receive is credited to Rajiv's trading account, and the buy price is reset to the day's closing price, that is 172.4 rupees. Now what is happening on day 3? That on day 3 the future is closed at rupees 171.6, which means with respect to the previous day's close price there is a loss to the extent of rupees 1600, that is the 172.4 rupees minus 171.6, which is multiplied with the lot size 2000, and here the Rajiv is incurring a loss of rupees 1600. So the loss amount will be automatically debited from the Rajiv's trading account, and also the buy price is now reset to 171.6 rupees. On day 4, the trader did not continue to hold the position through the day, but rather decide to square off the position midday, that is 2 p.m. and that is at 170.10 rupees. So hence, with respect to the previous day's close, he again made a loss, and that would be a loss of the closing price of the previous day and the price now, that is 171.6 rupees minus 170.1 rupees, and the loss is rupees 1.5 per share, and the net loss will be 3000 rupees. So now as Rajiv is squaring off, it does not matter where the futures price goes, as he has squared off his position. So further we are not going to look into that where the Hindalco's future price is moving, and we decided to square up, or Rajiv decided to square up on the day 4. So also rupees 3000 is debited from the trading account by end of the 4th day. So let us just tabulate the value of the daily mark to market and see how much money has come in and money has got out. So let's see the table that on 1st of December, the Rajiv started the trading with 165 rupees, the market closed at 168.3 rupees, and we make a gain of 6,600. Second day the market opens at 168, that is the closing of the first day, but the market closed at 172.4. Here also Rajiv make a gain of 8,200. On the third day the market started or opened with the closing price, that is 172.4, but it closed at a lower rate of 171. On that day Rajiv make a loss of 1,600, and on the 4th day Rajiv squared off, and on that day also the market goes down to 169.9 and it make a loss of 3,000. That is what the mark to market or daily, on the daily basis, the futures has been calculated, but in total it make a gain of 10,200 rupees. So this is what the mark to market is, or we can say that this is how the mark to market is calculated. I hope that you people have understood very clearly that how the mark to market margin is been calculated. So well, if you assumed up all the mark to market cash flow, you will end up the same amount that we originally calculated, which is the buy price is 165, sale price is 170.1, and the profit per share is 170.1 minus 165, that is 5.1 rupees, and the total profit is 2000, which is the lot size multiplied by the 5.1, that is the profit, and we make a profit of 10,200 rupees. So the mark to market is just a daily accounting adjustment where money is either credited or debited based on how the futures price behaves, and the previous day close price is taken into consideration to calculate the present day mark to market. Now let's discuss another margin, that is the spatial margin. So with a view to controlling price volatility and the breach of the daily circuit, that is the maximum permissible daily movement against the previous closing price on either side, exchange has introduced the system of spatial margin. The purpose of this margin is to control excessive speculation and to protect the interest of common traders and investors. So this will be applicable for all the traders who have an open position and they cannot trade further unless this spatial margin amount is paid. So this is what spatial margin is. Next we have delivery margin, and when the contract approaches delivery period, that is last 5 days before the expiry date of the contract, the exchange requires the buyers and sellers to put additional margins. So usually it is 25% of the total contract value and is subject to change by the exchange, and the delivery margin percentage is different for each commodity. So this is what the delivery margin is. Next we have the additional margin, and additional margin is called forth on occasional situations where there has been unexpected volatility in the market. To prevent potential default, the exchange necessitates this so that the system or exchange does not lose its stability in unfavorable situations. And lastly we have pre-expiry margin, and this pre-expiry margin is charged by the exchange on a cumulative basis over 3 to 5 days near the contract expiry to ensure better convergence of the futures and spot market prices by having only interested parties remain in the market while the speculators roll over their positions to subsequent months. So this is what the pre-expiry margin is. So this is all what is margin is, and this is what margin is actually, and it has a very important and significant role in the future contracts, and we can say that it is mandatory or it is inevitable, and we can say that every trader who wants to get into or wants to have future contracts or go for future contracts need to give this margin. And this margin, as we have discussed, are of various types. These are initial margin. We have discussed mark to market, and mark to market we know that how the margin is been calculated on the daily basis, and the daily profit and loss is been credited or debited from the account of the traders. And we have also discussed about other margins like the delivery margin, pre-expiry margin, and other types of 6 margins. And I hope that you people have understood that what this margin is and what is its importance and how these margins work in the futures contracts. So for today's class, this is all. Thank you.